think it runs in the family. My grandmother was a painter, a really good painter too, but she made a lot of fruit paintings, so still life, that's what it's called. So yeah, my older sister, my dad's family is a cartoonist. Yeah, it was definitely something that's part of the family. My third grade art teacher, Mrs. Bandis, Newton Public Schools, she had an assignment where we had to make a conch shell, and I was 8 years old, and I got really into this conch shell. I was obsessed with like making it like perfect, and she made such a big deal out of it. And she even brought another teacher from another classroom to show, wow. And from that moment on, for the next 4 years, she would always spend time with me and just like gave me special attention and really talked to me about it and wanted to see what I was doing. And even when I left elementary school, she wanted to know how I was doing with the art. So she was very encouraging. So I got my bachelor's in 3D design at Curry College. So with a concentration on ceramics. And then I didn't really do it for a while. And I did take I have other interests, like I think I've tried performance art, which I thought was really fun and interesting. And I took a 16mm class. But I always came back around to ceramics because I liked the process. Because it's not like computers where you like press some buttons and then you try to figure out. It's like, this is basic, it's primal, it's tactile. You do it, it happens. You press into the clay, you get an immediate reaction. It's kind of like an anti-technology art form. So like technology is really overwhelming, and this is something that, they probably did 20,000 years ago. Sure. And they probably made pots 20,000. They made figurines, 10,000 years ago. I mean, this evolved with us. Yes. It's literal mud, I evolved a pattern of working. So I have certain subject matters I like that I go back to over and over again. It's not so abstract that you won't know what you're looking at. Like, it's not like for minimalism where you're like, not sure what these blobs mean. I kind of tell you a lot with the imagery. A lot of the imagery is very dreamlike, so it will be recognizable objects, but it might have a little surrealist quality to it. I like classical art. I love people, I love faces, I love eyes. It's like a storybook with my sculpture is the main character in some sort of story. I remember when I was setting up for that show, my boyfriend was with me, and like this little kid was walking by with his mom, and he's like, Mommy, what is ceramics? And the mom's like, it's Play-Doh for adults. And I was like, you're right, it is Play-Doh for adults. It was lots of fun setting up that show. I'm really proud of the work I put in there. I guess it's fun evolving. So like when I look at my earlier work, even in the last 12 years, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, my early work sucks. I'm like, it's terrible. But then like 10 years later, I'm like, wow, I've really come a long way. So I don't really know what's going to happen in the future, but it is exciting to see the evolution happen as your skill level develops, as your experience level develops. The work changes. depending on the shows, I at least do 2 shows a year. Sometimes with Harvard Ceramics a lot, because they have a spring show and they get a fall show. And then sometimes I might do an additional show like with the library or someplace else. It is a great facility. It's gorgeous. They have a brand new building. It has a gallery. They have wonderful teachers that I really admire. They like to bring in really fabulous guest artists that come in from all over the world. And so there's always like fresh ideas and fresh faces coming in there, and that's always exciting. I think it's great to have another pair of eyes, because like sometimes when you're working really hard on something and you're concentrating on a detail, you'll miss the big picture, and I want to see how it affects other people. So you have other people seeing your work and then they give you feedback. When I was in college, so I have a bachelor's degree in 3D design, and I remember we had an assignment and I was reading this paper, I don't know, some sort of artist critique, and the sentence said, juxtaposition of elements to create a psychological synthesis. And I was like, oh my God, isn't that a vocab word? That's so fun. So you have 2 elements, and the elements could be like a subject matter, a shape, a style of artwork. It could be any element. And then when you, as an artist, you choose to put the elements together. So you're intentionally saying, I'm going to put this next to this. And when I put these 2 things together, that's when the story happens. And the psychological synthesis happens inside the viewer's mind. So there'll be a moment when you go, yes, I get it. And that's an exciting moment for a viewer. Viewers really, they don't like to be dictated what to think and how to feel. They want to discover themselves. That's the fun. It's like reading a mystery, you know, who done it. You want that experience to happen inside the viewer's mind.